First at 10, a fire burns on the site of the former Fort Ord. What officials say about that site and its history with fires.
And lightning lights up the desert Southwest when we could see some here on the Central Coast.
Plus, as the Boeing 737 MAX remains grounded, experts warn about long-term effects, what they believe could happen to not just the company, but the U.S. economy overall.
And a hungry and determined bear is caught red-handed trying to break into a dumpster. What he did after in his attempt to look for food.
This is KION News Channel 546 on the Central Coast CW.
Flames shooting through the roof of an abandoned building on Fort Ord, and firefighters say it's not the first time a fire has sparked in this Marina neighborhood. Thanks for joining us tonight on the CW. I'm Zach Fuentes.
And I'm Amanda Gomez. Tonight, investigators are trying to figure out what may have caused that fire. KION's Josh Cristianto is live in Marina for us with what people who live near that abandoned neighborhood are saying tonight. Josh.
Well, as you can see, the firefighters sealed off the already fenced-off Cypress Knolls neighborhood behind me, and tonight you could still smell the smoke in the air, and as firefighters let the flames burn out. A smoldering pile of debris is all that's left of an abandoned duplex in the old Cypress Knolls neighborhood, formerly used as military housing.
The front half of the duplex was mostly involved, and it was already into the attic and extended through the attic and ran the length of the structure.
Hours earlier, dramatic video provided by the Marina Fire Department shows just how intense the flames got.
We ended up containing it to the structure and just keeping it from going to other houses.
No one was inside during the fire, and with the flames contained, firefighters then decided to let the old building burn. Officials say they've got a number of fires in this neighborhood, up to 7 a year sometimes.
It's an ongoing issue that we've got. There are transients that live in the area, and whether it's transients or people messing around, you know, it's hard to tell.
It does, in general, concern me of having a lot of homeless and the random fires.
Police aren't sure if this fire was started by transients. The city does fence off the neighborhood to outsiders, but residents nearby say it doesn't keep people out.
There's a lot of homeless trying to stay warm, cook something wherever they can, and fire is pretty much going to be wherever they are. Potentially fire.
Since these fires happened in an empty neighborhood, firefighters analyze how much resources they need to dedicate to fighting the fire, and sometimes that means just letting things burn. Again, the cause of this fire is still under investigation by Marina Police. Reporting live in Marina, Josh Cristianto, KION News Channel 546.
All right, Josh, thank you. First at 10, Puerto Rico Governor Ricardo Rossello says he's resigning effective August 2nd in the face of public uproar over an obscenity-laced online chat. That chat showed the governor and close advisors insulting women and mocking constituents, including the victims of Hurricane Maria. Massive demonstrations sparked across San Juan as a result in the largest protest movement in more than 15 years. Rossello is the first governor to resign in the modern history of Puerto Rico. Justice Secretary Wanda Vasquez will become the new governor.
This developing story now, new details on the events that led up to Tuesday's officer-involved shooting in the Toro Park neighborhood. CHP officers shot a man neighbors say barricaded himself inside a home there. That standoff happened on Estoque Place, just off Portola Drive. Neighbors tell us the suspect drove off in a stolen truck and rammed into another car, totaling it. The owner called 911 as the suspect continued to drive down the street where that standoff happened. Several CHP officers ended up firing. Neighbors say they heard between 15 to 20 shots. Tonight, neighbors say this incident is keeping them on their toes.
Very unfortunate, but the world that we live today, I guess that we have to expect everything. It could be the best, the safest, the wealthiest neighborhood. That really does not mean that things like that one that happened last night will not happen.
The suspect is still in the hospital. Neither the district attorney's office nor the CHP has revealed what led up to the shooting, but the DA is taking over the investigation. Their job is to determine if officers lawfully discharged their weapons. Family members of Hugo Marr are still left very confused tonight. Marr is the man accused of stealing an airplane from the Watsonville airport and crashing it into the ocean. Marr's family says they still don't have closure, even though the FAA has explained what it believed happened. Investigators believe Hugo Marr stole that plane from the Santa Cruz Flying Club after he was denied from taking it out that same day. But no body was found, and no surveillance video of Marr getting into that plane was found. Marr's family still isn't sure what happened. They're also confused why the Coast Guard waited to search.
If it in fact crashed in the water, well, by 2 days later, there's not going to be any floating debris anymore. It's going to be in the bottom of the ocean.
The District Coast Guard says they were notified by the FAA that a plane had gone down 2 days before they were told, and said they did a thorough helicopter search of that area and several miles surrounding it, but waves and currents also played a factor.
New tonight, this letter from Assemblymember Robert Rivas to the presiding judge of the Monterey County Superior Court shows his apparent displeasure over the process of picking a new courthouse location. Shared on Twitter by Supervisor Luis Alejo, Rivas' letter shows that he's upset to learn from the judge that court leadership, quote, may be misleading residents. He goes on to write, if in fact true, it's unacceptable for our judicial leaders to state they are giving equal weight to the courthouse projects in Seaside and Greenfield, then behind closed doors choose to prioritize Seaside. And we've reached out to Assemblymember Rivas' office for further comment of clarification. We were told he was not immediately available.
And now, Chief Meteorologist Dan Siaka with your Weather Authority forecast.
I would say the hottest day of the year for our inland cities today. Take a look at some of these high temperatures. Bitterwater, 109 degrees. Bradley, 108. Gilroy, San Ardo, Parkfield, Halone, all at 105 degrees today. Around the bay, it was very comfortable. Monterey, Salinas, Santa Cruz, all within a degree or two of 80 degrees for our highs today. So it was a beautiful day near the coast, but hot inland. Will we see any more of these hot temperatures continuing? That's a good question. Right now, it's cooled off quite a bit around the bay. It's very comfortable, but inland, we're still looking at some very warm readings. 80 in the Hernandez Valley, 84 in the San Antonio Valley, 86 up in Pacheco Pass. Hard to cool your homes when it's still in the 80s outside. Now, we will get a little relief in the form of some high clouds tomorrow. That will shade us from the intense sunlight. But it also may pump in some moisture and have some other consequences. For example, perhaps some lightning. There's been lightning with thunderstorms across the desert southwest tomorrow. Some of this moisture, as you can see offshore here, starting to work its way in, will have an impact. So we'll talk a little bit more about lightning chances for your Thursday. Plus, take a look at that forecast through the weekend and beyond. Coming up.
All right, Dan, thank you. North Korea is reportedly active with missile launches once again. South Korean officials say the North fired 2 unidentified projectiles that reached into Japanese territory. They say the flight distance was about 267 miles and that the U.S. and South Korea are analyzing the details. But Japan's minister said that if this was a ballistic missile launch, it would violate UN sanctions. And across the nation now, a California federal judge has blocked the Trump administration from enforcing new asylum restrictions at the U.S.-Mexico border. This came hours after a judge in Washington decided to let the rules stand while lawsuits played out in court. The president's policy would prevent most migrants from seeking asylum in the U.S. if they pass through another country first. It targets tens of thousands of Central Americans who cross Mexico every month, as well as asylum seekers from Africa, Asia, and South America who arrive regularly at the southern border.
Boeing just had its worst financial quarter in the company's 103-year history, and it could soon get worse for the company and our economy. If the 737 MAX does not fly by the end of the year, the continued grounding could force Boeing to further slow or even shut down the plane's production. A move like that could send a ripple effect through the economy, but Boeing's CEO raised the possibility the MAX could be approved for passenger service by October.
You know, it will take some time to earn and re-earn that public confidence, and the first step will be to get the MAX back up and flying safely.
Boeing is facing a growing list of lawsuits, the latest filed just today by the family of Army Captain Antoine Lewis, killed in the Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302 crash in March. They called American, Southwest, and United to drop the 737 MAX from their fleets. Now, this terrifying sight caught on camera. A toddler was seriously hurt after climbing onto the Spirit Airline baggage belt at Georgia's airport. The boy's mom left them alone for a split second when they ran off. He ended up in the TSA bag room and was sent to the hospital.
Just ahead here, a wrap-up of Robert Mueller's testimony today on Capitol Hill and the message he wants the American people to walk away with.
And later, a hungry bear gets the munchies at a Colorado pot shop. What happened when he couldn't break into that dumpster out back?
And welcome back. We are back with a new look at President Trump arriving at the White House after a trip to West Virginia. During the day of travel, he was at the center of hours of testimony and questioning in Washington. And some mixed reactions tonight to the testimony by former special counsel Robert Mueller. It ran for nearly 6 hours. The president calling it a great day for Republicans and for himself personally, but leaders in the Democratic Party say they hope the American people were really listening when Mueller testified that he did not clear the president of wrongdoing. President Trump took a victory lap today after Robert Mueller's testimony before 2 congressional committees.
This was one of the worst performances in the history of our country.
But behind closed doors, House Democrats discussed impeachment proceedings against him. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jerry Nadler held detailed discussions with fellow Democrats about the process of moving forward with a formal inquiry. Pelosi has consistently resisted discussing impeachment until it has more public support. Right now, polls show a majority of Americans do not support it, and only about 40% of House Democrats support such a move.
The president has repeatedly claimed that your report found there was no obstruction and that it completely and totally exonerated him. But that is not what your report said, is it?
Correct. It is not what the report said.
Some Republicans accused Mueller and his team of bias.
You hired a bunch of people that did not like the president.
And you must be aware by now that 6 of your lawyers donated $12,000 directly to Hillary Clinton.
I have been in this business for almost 25 years. And in those 25 years, I have not had occasion once to ask somebody about their political affiliation.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi did publicly say that Democrats are working through the courts to try to get the White House to cooperate with their ongoing investigations.
We want to have the strongest possible case to make a decision as to what path we will go down.
And Nadler says his panel will file lawsuits this week to get more information about the Mueller report and to enforce a subpoena against former White House counsel Donald McGahn. The head of the U.S. Border Patrol admits that she was part of a controversial Facebook group. Chief Carla Provost told lawmakers during a House Appropriations hearing today. The group has come under fire after an investigation showed that posts included jokes about migrants' deaths and derogatory comments about Latina lawmakers. Provost said that once she realized there was an investigation, she went to authorities.
Not only did I self-report, I turned my entire Facebook account over to the Office of Professional Responsibility. And when I say that, I gave them my login and my password so they had full access to my account. And they were able to go in and look at all of my activity over the 3 years that I have been a member of Facebook.
Provost denied knowing about the controversial posts ahead of the ProPublica report that first exposed that Facebook group.
Well, this is a story you have to see to believe. A bear caught red-handed dragging a dumpster away from a pot shop. Check it out. The security's cameras at the shop captured the whole thing. The gates blow open. In walks that hungry bear looking for some food. He makes sure no one is around, tries to get in that dumpster. When that doesn't work, he decides, well, I'll just drag this thing out.
He's all into the Rocky Mountain High, and I don't blame him. He knows the good stuff when he sees it, or should I say smells it.
The shop staff named the bear Cheeseburger. They say they see him pretty often. They see him around there. Turns out their bear-proof dumpster worked like a charm. Oh my goodness.
Can't blame him for trying.
That's
Yeah.
hilarious. It looks like a human carrying that thing
I
out.
know.
Yeah.
He just went and took it. I love it.
Cheeseburger.
Cheeseburger.
Good name for a bear.
Looking for cheeseburgers.
Hi, Dan.
Hi, what's up?
Hi,
I
Dan.
don't know. What's up with the visibility?
What is up with the visibility? Well, we have it, so that's good. No fog at the moment. That's the good news. Tracking some fog or watching for it tonight. We will have some eventually, but not just yet. The other thing I'm watching is the high clouds beginning to move their way in. The satellite picture is showing them creep in from the south. That is the leading edge of the monsoon moisture, clockwise flow around a big area of high pressure and a couple of lobes of moisture. Looks like a big propeller. And Well, one of them is going to come sweeping over us as we head through the day tomorrow. So this is a lot of moisture, the high levels of the atmosphere. And this high level moisture, well, it has enough instability or energy in it to create a couple of light showers. Now, these showers, if they occur, are going to be way up high in the sky. And in between them and us will be a very deep area of dry air. This dry air will probably evaporate anything that falls out of those showers, but it's sometimes possible that a few of these raindrops make it through. In fact, a couple nights ago, we had a couple sprinkles in San Benito County. A couple weeks ago, King City, a similar situation. We had some high-level moisture coming through. You got a brief shower. This was the type of scenario, and this is why I have to say there is a chance of an isolated light shower or two. There's also a chance of some lightning. I mentioned there is some instability with this. As this moves over tomorrow, there's a chance that some of these tiny little showers way up in the sky could generate some lightning. And if we do get a cloud-to-ground strike, probably no rain to put out any fire that would start. So something we have to watch tomorrow would be a few lightning strikes. I think the chances are actually pretty low. In fact, I would be a little surprised if we saw anything tomorrow, but it is possible. It's a non-zero chance, so I have to mention it for us. This is pretty short-lived. This lobe of moisture will scoop through and be out of our way as we head into the weekend, and behind it, much warmer temperatures. So let's look at Futurecast. It's got the high clouds moving through and the low clouds returning tomorrow morning with some fog possible around the bay. And then we head through the afternoon hours tomorrow. Still a few passing high clouds at times. I think we'll get some sunshine early in the day, enough to warm us up quite a bit, but a little bit more low cloud cover on the coast tomorrow. The high clouds will then thicken up again late tomorrow night, which may be the best chance to see an isolated sprinkle or two. And the model not showing anything over our neck of the woods, but it is showing a couple of showers and thunderstorms over the Central Valley, so not too far away from us. So there is some of that energy. If it moves a little farther to the west, we could be talking about a rain shower tomorrow. So again, let's kind of cover that again. Monsoon moisture streaming in, isolated dry thunderstorms possible, and then slightly cooler tomorrow with those extra clouds. So let's take a look at some temperatures for tomorrow. 77 Santa Cruz, 88 in Scotts Valley, 90s in the San Lorenzo Valley. We saw some triple digits there today, so definitely a little bit cooler out there. Davenport, the coolest spot, 65, 88 in San Juan Bautista, 98 in Gilroy, Salinas at 75, mid-60s back to the Bayshore, and 75 tomorrow in Watsonville. Let's take you to Monterey tomorrow, where we'll see highs in the upper 60s, really across the peninsula, highs in the upper 60s. And it's going to be a pretty comfortable day out there. Maybe a little bit cool in Pacific Grove. Top out at 63 tomorrow. And then finally, farther to the south, highs in the 80s in the Salinas Valley. Still some triple digits to be found, though. Bradley 102, Parkfield 100 tomorrow. Carmel Valley more comfortable at 77. All right, let's take a look at that extended forecast now. So tomorrow, one of our cooler days. We'll stay about the same on Friday with a few more high clouds, especially early in the day. Then we're warmer Saturday and Sunday. Looks like a beautiful weekend. Can't rule out a few low clouds on the south side of the bay, but Santa Cruz will be gorgeous throughout the weekend, and really Monterey will be pretty nice too. So hopefully you can get out and enjoy some of that weather. A little bit cooler and cloudier expected on the coast next week. Inland areas, tomorrow's temperatures cool off, but after tomorrow's weather, the clouds clear out as well. Temperatures head back upward. In fact, it looks like Saturday's temperature, they have the potential to be 1 to 3 degrees warmer than today. So why is that a big deal? Well, we hit 108 in Bradley today, 109 in Bitterwater. Add 1 to 3 degrees on that, and we're in the 1-teens. So definitely some heat on Saturday for most locations. Will be cooler by midweek next week. Back to you two.
All right.
Hi, Dan. Thank you.
Well, it is. Oh, I'm a little bit taller than you.
Oh, yeah. It's those high heels.
I put my heels on and I just realized I'm like a little too tall.
Not
it's
that
short, time
am I?
again. You might call it hump day, but we call it Good News Wednesday. No, you were not that short.
No, I'm really not. We're going to break down.
Short.
She is a little bit. We're going to break down some of our favorite feel-good stories of the week so far, starting in space. Now, some scientists think the Milky Way melded with a smaller galaxy about 10 billion years ago. But using data from the Gaia Space Telescope, researchers are now taking measurements to piece together how the Milky Way was formed.
This is cool. I feel like we're in space right now. This is really
Hope we're not
neat.
making you guys dizzy.
Well, they say the stars of both galaxies were thrown into motion, forming the halo around the Milky Way that exists today.
It's amazing how much we're still learning. All right, it was a big birthday for Bindi Irwin. On her 21st birthday, the Australian wildlife conservationist got engaged. Irwin shared the news on social media today. Makes you miss her father, kind of.
It does.
Yes, it's sad, but
Go look on
congrats to
Twitter.
her.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
If you love puppies and you love proposals, there's a good chance you will love this story here. Joel Booth and Katie Latimer had been dating for almost 3 years, so when Joel decided to propose to Katie, he knew it had to be special. That's where Golden Retriever Bowie comes in. Booth surprised his fiancée with not only Bowie, but a ring as well. She, of course, said yes, and the photos of that proposal have since gone international.
He is setting the bar a little too high for a lot of us out here.
That is adorable.
Beautiful proposal, though. Beautiful pictures, too. Look at those.
Incredible. Gorgeous.
Gorgeous. We love it.
We'll be right back.
And welcome back. All right, American women are having fewer babies than ever before. A new CDC report says the nation's general fertility rate dropped to an all-time low last year, and it's now at the level where the nation cannot replace its existing population. Among other findings by the CDC, the birth rate among teenagers, that's also declining, while the rate of early-term births are growing.
In your consumer news, Amazon has a new partner in the real estate business. It's a new program called Turnkey with a company called Realogy. They say Turnkey will connect home buyers to agents in their area. Once a buyer closes on a house, Amazon promises to help them move in. It says it'll give buyers up to $5,000 in smart home devices and free services.
All right, crack open to reveal your fortune. We're going to visit the nation's largest factory that makes fortune cookies by the millions.
Finally here, a 4,500 square foot factory in Queens is the largest producer of fortune cookies in the world. The fortune writer for the factory says chances are if you go to any Asian restaurant in the U.S., well, those fortune cookies served, they were likely made right there.
Good fortune to you guys. Thanks for watching.